Welcome, Rangers fans and Team USA fans, to a live episode of Rangers Ed. This is part 2 of the Rivalry Tour, sponsored by Lucarelli Law and O'Brien's Bar and Grill. If you're in trouble and you need a lawyer down in Florida or up here in New York, call up Dom Lucarelli and he'll help you out. And if you are looking to pregame the next Rangers game, probably tomorrow night, I believe, against the Flyers, head across the street to O'Brien's Bar and Grill and grab some baked clams or a nice Guinness before you head into the garden. Coach, Team USA is officially gold medalist. How do you feel, and what have you been up to the last week?
This snowstorm really knocked me dead for a couple of days, really put a strain on my situation. Working otherwise, but just watching all the videos and the Instagram posts and the excitement that these guys have and what the whirlwind they must have been through and the partying and the fun, and God bless them, man. Thank God, hopefully none of them got in trouble. They seem to have done a pretty good job of keeping it fun and clean. So let's hopefully it stays that way. Nothing comes out, but watched them last night with the president. The whole thing yesterday was just, to me, just a whirlwind and excitement and a little bit of bitterness by Canada, I've been noticing, by some players and some Instagram posts. And
yeah,
all of a sudden McKinnon comes out. It comes out that McKinnon might have been banged up, and
yeah, I mean, I guess that causes him to miss a wide open net. But that's besides the point. I mean, yeah, he made a comment. I mean, the comment was taken out of context a little bit. He did give credit to Team USA, but he said something like, "You guys decide who the better team was today," which, I mean, yeah, like Team Canada, they were, I guess, like the Darth Vader, and they had all this offensive power. I mean, I didn't really watch a lot of their games, but like from what I saw or from what I like in the box score and stuff, it seemed like they didn't really turn it on until the second or third period, pretty much every single game. So, like USA just had the better defense, and Coach Ed and I say that all the time. I mean, it starts from the goalie out, and good goaltending, or great goaltending, I should say, strong defense like they had, and they were able to withstand it. They weathered the storm. Which it was a storm in the second and third period, and they weathered it, and then they took advantage of their strengths in overtime. And that was another thing too. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about this with Neil as well. Like Cooper said that, like, oh, a game like that shouldn't be decided in overtime and stuff like that. I mean, those comments are tough. I mean, that seems like a little bit sore loser to me to say something.
I mean,
like
to me, I was like,
when you have that offensive
3-on-3 overtime, you got McDavid, McKinnon, McCarr. I'm scared shit of USA.
Right. I said it to you guys on the couch when we were watching.
Yeah,
I was like, look at this lineup. It's like a cheat code. Like, are you kidding me?
Come on.
Yeah, so those comments are tough. Yeah.
I mean, I have a few things I want to talk about. I guess I'll wait till Coach's Corner, but to me, the two big things, I'm going to have to flop on a couple of things. I'll just get that out in the open. Think about the mirror image of 1980 and 26. Jim Craig played outstanding. I think the Russians had over 60 shots or something ridiculous. I mean, pretty much dominated the game. The U.S. had some good players, but they had a freaking scrap and dump and jump, dump and chase and get things done. To me, it was I'm not saying we're not more talented than the 1980 team right now, the U.S., but it was a lot of similarities in the situation where Canada was the favorite skill wise. So I got to give that. But my two big flops was a few weeks ago. I think I mentioned it on the podcast that I met Charlie McAvoy's sister, and I kind of questioned the fact that why would he decide to go coming off this injury with Boston in a playoff push in the middle of a playoff race and risk getting hurt again. And she told me flat out, it's not even a decision. He's absolutely going. And watching the tournament and watching their reaction for the last couple of days, I'm like, now it's so obvious that you have to go. No matter what it is. JT Miller, the same thing. I think we questioned that a little bit on the show, and my God, what they did and what they accomplished. I mean, I can't say enough. And I got to say, my other flop, it could have went either way. I mean, Jack Hughes said it himself. If Canada scores on that high sticking power play, me and you were going to hate him even more. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta love the guy now.
Yeah.
The guy gets a tooth knocked out, a tooth cracked, bloody mouth, pretty much doesn't miss a shift. Gets out there, gets into position, and finishes it off. I mean, thank God. You know, we'll get into coach's corner with the penalty kill situation. They killed off that power play at the end, and Quinn Sully puts out freaking Jack Hughes out there. I believe I looked at a video.
The shot too.
The old school shot off the front foot, not the new style.
No, I'm saying like Sullivan said to Quinn or Torts on the bench, I think, like he's gonna get it for us. He's gonna score.
Oh, he did. I didn't hear that. I didn't see that.
That's a true miracle moment. I mean, I was watching the movie again, and like it's kind of cliche. I think Disney probably hyped it up a little bit, but like every like meaningful goal, like the coach like decides to put the guy out there. You know
right.
what I mean?
Jumps him. Yeah, Bill Baker.
Who knows who knows if that was true in 1980, but they showed the clip in 2026 of him saying it to Torts. So it definitely was true.
I mean, I think I said that last week. I said sometimes you just go on a hunch.
Yeah, you go with someone who's hot, like you said. Like the kid gets hit in the mouth. He's obviously got a chip on his shoulder, no pun intended, and in his mouth. He's going to be on a mission to make up for it. He admitted that he was kind of pooping his pants in the penalty box a little bit when he took the penalty. You know, so he was on a mission. He was like, "I'm not making a mistake again," even though that play was a little. If he didn't chip that puck at the blue line, it was 2-0. McCarr and McDavid going the other way. I think it was McDavid. It might have been McKinnon, but whoever.
It was McDavid. It was McDavid because McKinnon was the one back that.
Right, McDavid was back
Lorenski,
trying to back check.
And I finally watched who the third player was. It was Dylan Larkin, 21.
Yeah. So, and speaking of Larkin, I mean, he had an outstanding tournament. That guy is so underrated, or I don't know, maybe we just don't watch him enough, but he hasn't had his chance in the playoffs yet, but he will. He's something else. I mean, I think he was like by the semifinal game, he was like 80-something% in the faceoff dot. That's just something I can't even like imagine. But yeah, I mean, today's the Rivalry Tour Part 2. We're going to have the Devils. We're going to be joined by Neil Villapiano from Devil's State of Mind, as always. And later on, we're going to be joined by Sean Cuthbert from Hockey Night in New York. And then, as Coach had mentioned, we're going to be doing a little Coach's Corner, diving a little deeper into the power play and the importance of JT Miller and Trocheck getting invited down or over to Milan for the tournament and going home. So definitely stay tuned for that. Yeah, I mean, we might as well. Neil's backstage. Let's bring him on. We can continue this Team USA talk. He's the perfect guest to have with Jack Hughes. I give him enough crap for Jack Hughes, so I'm not allowed to do it this episode. I promised myself. So here he is, Neil Villapiano.
Hey guys, how are we? How we doing?
Here he is. Good to see you,
What's up,
man.
Neil?
What's up, Coach?
Well,
how
Neil,
are we?
I'm doing good. I mean, I don't know if you heard me, but I had to eat crow.
Yeah, you did.
And I don't think I could ever question Jack Hughes' toughness.
I feel like some people might just question his health ability.
That's a fact, but
right.
I'm not going to say he'll be milking an injury, because he didn't even hesitate. Hung out, partied for 2 days, didn't go to a dentist. Playing that game like that. He just figured I'm doing it, and like most hockey players would have. But me and Eddie, I'm sure have questioned Jack Hughes' toughness, and attitude on multiple occasions. And let it be said, I'll eat crow right now. Gotta love him. He's a USA gung ho guy. Said a great interview after.
Yeah,
and great job.
That's what did it for me. I mean, I said it in your live video the other night. There's only a few days left. I'm the biggest Jack Hughes fan on the planet. So there's only a few days left.
Only a few days. It's all good.
I'm not going to say I'm going to root for him against the Rangers.
No, of course. No, I got you. I got you. Look, I'll take that. I'll take you eating crow. I'll take that. That's fine.
Yeah. So Neil, what were your thoughts on the Olympics in general, and then obviously your boy scoring the golden goal?
it was a long time coming to finally get NHL players back at the Olympics, and we truly got the best on best. Obviously, it would have been great to still, have the Russians playing as well and really see all that, but obviously that's out of our control. That's more in the IOC and the IIHF, but overall, it was incredibly entertaining, both on the men's side and the women's side as well. We saw a lot of talent. We saw a lot of talent out there. From the women's side, you're seeing all these players who play in the PWHL who are just tremendous in their own right. And we got to see a lot of them play on this, world stage. And then as far as, the men are concerned, I think at the end, when you look at how that entire tournament went and how it ended, I don't think you could have scripted a better ending, especially if you live in the United States, obviously. Um, it was great. It had to come down to Canada. I knew pretty much from the beginning of the tournament that if the United States was going to win gold, they were going to have to go through Canada at some point, whether that be in a semifinal game or the gold medal game. And sure enough, they meet up in the gold medal game. And I will say this. I had tweeted out before overtime. I said, "Oh, screw it. Give me Jack Hughes to score the game winner." Not thinking that he actually would. I'll be very honest. I did not think that he actually would be the guy who scored it. I was thinking more of like Austin Matthews, Jake Gensel, Quinn Hughes, even Tage Thompson, because I thought Thompson had a couple of really good chances to score earlier in that game. And because also Mike Sullivan, wasn't playing Jack as much as he was playing those guys. He was, Jack was playing on that third line. So I just thought that Sully would go to more of his, I guess you would say, further up the lineup guys for overtime, but he throws Jack out there for one shift and immediately has to try to slow down Connor McDavid, who's coming up the right side with a ton of speed. Is able to at least knock him off the puck, which is good. And then the individual play that Jack makes off the pass from Zach Rowensky, where it looks like Cale Makar is going to steal it and give it to McDavid, and he would have been all alone, and he probably would have scored because it's Connor McDavid.
It would have been
Jack makes that.
It would have been a 2-on-0, I think.
Oh yeah, it would have been a 2-on-0, and it would have been a nightmare. Even with the performance that Connor Hellebuck had, I don't know if he would have been able to stop him, but nonetheless,
That would have been tough.
Great play to beat Nathan McKinnon to the puck as well by Rowensky, and Dylan Larkin going back there as well, and then Rowensky with the great feed to Jack. I didn't think it went in at first.
Wait, let's not say that this is the play that's the key. Jack's tip, right? Johnny Laz always said there's three parts to every player, right? One is the chip by Hughes.
Yep.
Two is Werenski not even going after the puck, knocking McKinnon off the play and taking the puck.
Yep.
So McKinnon actually beat him to the puck. So that heads-up play by Werenski is the hockey IQ play that was great, and then just puts it on the tape of Jack Hughes.
Pass was beautiful.
I only knew that it went in when I saw the crowd behind the net jump.
Same thing. I did not see it go. I watched it.
We didn't see it hit net. We didn't see anything.
I didn't see anything. And then, it was so loud in the bar that I was at. None of us could. We all had a very delayed reaction because we thought maybe that Bennington got it or he made a save and the puck went out of play or whatever.
Right.
But then you see them celebrating, and that's when the realization comes in. And I say to everybody that there were three reactions that I had. It was, oh my gosh, the United States just won gold. Oh my gosh, Jack Hughes was the one that scores the golden goal. And the third one was, oh my gosh, the US just won gold against Canada. Like that was my process with it. And it was, I was on cloud nine. And as I said on my live, which Ed saw, that really in those moments I couldn't be more prouder to be a American hockey fan and a New Jersey Devils fan, because now, our superstar player is the one that gets the golden goal, and, everybody's talking about him, and it's great. People now get a chance or got the chance to see the kind of player that Jack Hughes can be when he's fully healthy and rocking and rolling. And we saw that. We saw that throughout this tournament. He started on a fourth line, had some really good chemistry with Brock Nelson of all people, which was kind of crazy to start the tournament. But then you saw him develop really well with Tage Thompson, Dylan Larkin, and One thing I did want to say, because I heard you guys talking about Dylan Larkin.
You froze up a little,
there,
Neil,
yeah.
if you could hear us.
I think we're good.
Now we're
You're
good.
back. The last
right,
thing we
good,
heard
good.
was Dylan Larkin.
Yeah, the funny thing about Dylan Larkin that it really comes down to, because everybody's like, wow, I didn't realize Dylan Larkin was this good. It's a simple fact that we haven't seen him play in a tournament or
Meaningful
competition like
games.
this. We haven't seen him in the playoffs. And
Yep.
hopefully we'll get a chance to see him this year with Detroit. And I think he's going to end up continuing to be a big game player and really, really play well for Detroit. But Larkin was great. Larkin was great. But that whole line of Larkin, Hughes, and Thompson was really, really strong throughout the tournament. It was great to see. And overall, just Jack Hughes, chip in his tooth, blood in his mouth, with the American flag draped over him. I mean, that's an image that's going to last for many, many, many years to come. And like I said, I couldn't be happier. I could not be happier for Jack. I couldn't be happier for the Hughes family. And it was just awesome. It really was.
I mean,
It really was
I gotta
Yeah.
love that Jack Hughes won the gold medal goal. You know, the whole thing was spectacular, but to me, the whole tournament was won by the penalty kill.
Yes.
100% penalty kill against Sweden, Canada. Not the other games I get, that's possible. But when you go against Canada, 5-on-3 against Canada,
Yeah,
you're figuring they're getting at least one.
that's what I thought.
And they kept it at 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
goalie out, everybody.
And it wasn't just the men either. Look at the women as well. They didn't give up a single power play goal all tournament long. And I was saying to a couple people that I work with, I said, whoever is in charge of the penalty kill, yeah, exactly. Whoever's in charge of the penalty kill, like, needs to, like, be recognized more, because that was a tremendous job by by the United States as a whole. It really was impressive. And it was just kind of funny how, like, right after, not too long after the 5-on-3, then we give up a goal. And then it was like, oh, okay. So now we're going to give it up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know if there's anybody. I'm sure there's someone in charge per se, but I don't think there's too much coaching going on when you have this kind of an all-star team. I'm sure they're reminded of certain things and they watch some film and, you know, so on. But, you know, again, we went back to when we discussed it last week. You know, coaches are picking the right players for a reason, certain players for a reason. And obviously, like, you know, they made the right decisions. Thank God Jack Hughes scored that goal. Yeah. This could have been an ugly episode, Neil.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, it's, you know, when Jack was talking about that penalty he took on the 4-minute double minor, I said, you know, I was thinking to myself, of all people to screw up at this moment, why did it have to be you? And I'm thinking to myself, yep, Canada's going to score on this power play, and that'll be that. And Jack will not be an American hero. He'll actually be a villain for everybody for the rest of time because of that. But again, the penalty kill was, you know, tremendous. It was absolutely tremendous. And for Jack to get that ultimate, I don't know if I'd say justice, probably revenge, and score the golden goal. Couldn't ask for a better tournament for Jack. He put his name on the map throughout this country and in hockey history.
I mean, before we get on to the Devils itself, let's also talk about what he just, again, the thing I love about hockey players is that blue collar mentality. He's in his post game press conference, all excited he scored. And what does he say? He goes, "That was so close to me being the butt of the bar stool," whatever he called it.
Yeah.
You know, and being the not the goat. What would you call it? The scapegoat.
The scapegoat, yeah, not the goat.
Of not winning. Yep. Not winning the gold medal again, you know. So
100%.
The realization, and again, I talked about this with Eddie and Mark when we were watching it, and Kathy was like, why are they getting like so emotional and excited? It's because you don't realize the enormous pressure on these guys. I mean, why did McKinnon miss that empty net? You know, the pressure on that. You talk about gripping the stick tight. All it's got to do is go off the heel a little bit and you're missing. And that's pressure, that's nerves.
Yeah.
it's a lot. There's a lot of variables, and
For sure.
just the emotion just comes out, because I was watching the women's game with Kathy, and when they won, the coach just put his hands in his face and literally just started crying hysterically. She goes,
Yeah.
I don't understand. Why is he crying? I says, you realize the emotion, the pressure and the emotion
Yeah.
of that, it's phenomenal, excellent ending.
It was awesome.
Hopefully we could keep the ball rolling and not dominate Canada, but continue to move forward. I know on NHL Network they were talking a lot about that. I forget who said it, but they said like 4 years ago they saw this trend of the U.S. team starting to go on an upwards trend, and Canada not going down but evening out, and they're feeling U.S. is going to take a little bit of a lead.
Yeah.
And kudos to the U.S. development program and the whole thing over these years, being patient and having a plan and the whole thing. And Jack mentioned that as well. And, just again, the words he said in the post games and all his little interviews were just very well said. And kudos to him because, again, me and Eddie weren't fans of his really as far as his comments on Instagram and everything
I
else.
know.
So, we gave you a lot of shit for that.
Of
But
course.
I got to give him a lot of credit, and maybe he's maturing. Maybe that was all just an act. I don't know. Whatever it is, and
would
we're
like to
here
think.
and it's the now.
Yeah, you would like to hope that a tournament like this and how it all went down gets Jack to really mature and recognize, the things that, he's done and not done in the past. And he really, really, takes that next step as a player. Um, it'll be really interesting to see how the rest of this season goes for the Devils. I know we're going to get into it. And I think for Jack, I think he's certainly quieted a lot of people. But he's got to keep going out there and performing. And as we say, right, the best ability is availability, right? And Jack's biggest knock is the amount of times that he's missed games due to injuries. And you're hoping that Jack can push beyond that moving forward here and really, really be available on a much more consistent basis for the Devils. And for his own case, as he continues to develop into the player that everybody wants him to be.
I mean,
Yeah, I
we
think
deal with something similar with Fox and Shesterkin, in my opinion. So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, we're both. And since we met you, I think one year we were doing good, the Devils weren't, vice versa. Now we both suck. So at least we have
Now
a
we
little.
both
We can
suck.
cry in each other's arms a little bit.
It's we can have much more somber conversations moving forward.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me with Jack was you guys touched on it was his press conference. I feel like he like grew up like right before our eyes. Like as soon as he
Mhm.
scored that goal, or maybe as soon as he got hit in the mouth, whatever time it was, like he literally like turned into a different person. I
Yeah.
feel like, like the antics in the interviews, like kind of like the not giving a shit attitude, and obviously the whatever happened at the steak dinner with the knife and stuff, goofing off, whatever happened, like things like that,
Yeah.
I think are behind him. I
You
mean,
would hope.
I don't want to say I hope, but I am going to be rooting for
I
the
know you
kid.
don't hope, but I can hope.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I do. I mean, like I don't really wish success on the Devils necessarily, but I am going to be rooting
Of
for
course.
this kid now because he is USA and he's going to be representing us every
Sure.
2 years,
Yeah.
So I don't want him saying wrong things in interviews and looking like a punk and everything if he's going to be on Team USA every 2 years, because I mean that I was thinking about that the other day. Like we're not used to this. This is the
Right.
first time of like NHLers being on Team USA in a very long time, other than the Four Nations, obviously, but that was
Right.
different. This is like we're so patriotic again. It's like, how am I not supposed to root for this kid now? Like no matter what, like he's Team USA, like that's it. He's got the American flag underneath that Devils jersey is the
Yep.
American flag, so it is going to be hard. And I give him a lot of credit. And like I said, he kind of just grew up. Maybe it's not going to change his shoulder injuries per se, but maybe he'll do more things to improve in that department. And I honestly do wish him luck. I hope he stays healthy because obviously he's going to be a force for us for many years to come, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. And
You know?
I think that I think a lot of people gained a lot of respect for Jack Hughes through this tournament. A lot of people that maybe didn't, you know, like him or, thought he was incredibly overrated or, pretty boy hockey player as Jack has put out,
Immature,
you know.
I would say.
Yeah, I think I
He's still
think
so
that
young too. Like
he is
it's
still, I mean, he's 24 years of age. I think people forget
crazy.
that, right? Because we put so many of these athletes on a pedestal right away when they're 17, 18 years of age, right? And, for some guys, it takes much longer to really mature and become kind of like the person that, ultimately you want to end up being, somebody who understands everything and just can play the game and not do, stupid shit. So, really, that's what I think everybody's going to be looking for with Jack moving forward is that can he take the lessons that he learned from this tournament and really continue to mature, and handle it that way. It'll be interesting. And I think also be interesting with his play as well.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I was going to
it's
ask you. I
interesting
mean,
I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. What were you
Right.
going to say?
I'm saying maybe he had a chip on his shoulders from the Four Nations because he really didn't play that much and they didn't have a good tournament. So
No.
maybe he learned a little there also.
I think he also had a chip on his shoulder for the way that this season is gone. I mean, in the Devils world, I mean, everybody was pissed off that he missed the last 3 games before the Olympic break. And granted, this season is gone to what for the Devils, but I think a lot of us just grew so over Jack being out for however many games with whatever injury he might have sustained, whatever situation. And it's frustrating, right? And so a lot of people will say, like, oh, they were questioning his ability. And it was like, not necessarily his ability, but just his availability, right? And just being able to, consistently be out there. And it's frustrating when your best player is not out there. It's frustrating that the Devils are having another season like they've had numerous times over the last 5-6 years where injuries and things like that just ultimately hit this team in the face. It's not the only reason, but it is a reason. And again, you just hope from a Devil's perspective that Jack can learn from that, learn from the mistakes of the past, take what he did in this tournament, really grow even more, mature even more, and give himself a chance to elevate himself and the team moving forward.
Yeah, what do you I mean, you kind of said what you're hoping for. But do you foresee him coming back? I mean, let's give him a game or two to maybe get rid of the hangover and all the hype and everything with the White House and whatnot. But do you foresee him? I mean, honestly, I wasn't sure like how healthy he was. So I'm assuming
Right.
his hand is fine now, so or at least that's what it appeared to be. So Devils
Yeah,
fans are going to be a little upset if all of a sudden he finds himself on the IR again.
of course.
Um, but how do you foresee that going? I mean, do you think like he's going to really turn into a different player and like almost be the actual captain of this team now, or the whatever figuratively
Yeah.
speaking?
Yeah, I think that I definitely think that Jack has entered a new part of his career and just his overall development as not only a player but as a person. And I think he learned a lot from this tournament. I mean, he's playing with, the best players in the world. He's playing on an international stage and he ends up being the guy. And I think he learned a lot from everybody that he was around. And I think that's so important for him. And so, yeah, I'm going to say that I think he's going to get better. I think he's going to, mature even more. And, you know, while Nico Heischer is the captain of the New Jersey Devils, and understandably so, this team will go about as far as Jack Hughes will take them. Jack is the most talented player on this team. And when Jack's out there doing his thing and being consistently good, you've seen what this Devils team can do, especially if
Yeah.
they're all clicking. We've seen it before. Um, and I think that's really what it comes down to is that while this season's kind of a wash at this point and there isn't much we can really do about it now. I mean, the Devils would have to go on an unbelievable run in these last 25 games, being 11 points out of a playoff spot to even just get into the playoffs. Um, the one thing you hope for is that Jack and the team can build upon that and, finish this year on a high note and ultimately go into next season, with some changes because they need some wholesale changes in my opinion for sure.
Yeah. So, what kind of changes do you think? I mean, you answered my question already. Kind of punting this season, so you don't see Fitzgerald being a buyer at the deadline. I mean, is he going to be a seller or kind of just stay pat until the summer type of thing?
I unfortunately see him trying to buy because I think that he knows his job is on the line. I think the reality is that the Devils, if they do not make the playoffs, or if they somehow do but get knocked out in the first round, that Tom Fitzgerald should be and will be fired, because this is year 6 and he has all of 2 playoff appearances and 1 second round appearance to show for it. And a team that has progressively gotten worse, in my opinion, since 22-23. He has overcompensated a lot, made a lot of really head scratching moves. I think at times grew very sensitive to what people on the outside were saying about how he should build his team. And I think he just right now is trying to he's trying to save his job. I think that's why you saw, we saw the report during the break that he's trying to make a big hockey trade, something that's going to shake up the team. The reason that I fear that is because I worry how that'll affect the team now and moving forward, especially with a new GM. And I really think that it's necessary for this team to get new leadership in here. Somebody with a different perspective, somebody with a system that is better for the team that you have and the top players that you have, because right now it's not working. How do you explain, right? How do you explain that the Devils have had multiple head coaches and numerous times they're towards the bottom of the NHL in terms of goals per game? Like that, and then you see several of those guys who have been struggling score at will in the Olympics. Like
But how? Wait. How is that the GM's fault? He's putting the players there. When you guys got Timo Meyer, you drafted Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier. You got Timo Meyer, that was the savior. You got, who's the goalie?
Markstrom, yes.
You got Markstrom. That was, I don't remember this negative attitude towards Fitzgerald in the beginning of the season.
At the beginning of this season?
Yeah. I'd have to go back and watch our episode. And I might have to, Neil. I love you to death, but
no, I know you do. I know
how much. How many more guys can Tom Fitzgerald put in this lineup? They got Palat from
Hughes.
They got Palat from
Vancouver. He could have had Quinn Hughes, but he has poor roster.
That was the answer. And they got Luke Hughes. They signed Luke. The only mistake I'd say he made personally was giving Luke Hughes $7 million or whatever.
No. See, okay, I'm going to add on to that. Let me add on to that.
All right, go ahead. Give me a rebuttal now.
No trade and no move clauses the Devils have.
Well, that's 15. The Rangers too. I don't know where this. I don't know. Do other teams have this? I don't follow that much.
No, they don't. Like, here's the thing. The only team that has more than the Devils is the Florida Panthers. And at least the Panthers have won the Cup twice and been to 3 straight finals.
All right.
The Devils, Tom Fitzgerald gives out no trade and no move clauses like they are candy. He's giving them out to players that have no business having them.
Timo
and the
Meyer
problem
has
is
one,
that,
right?
What's up?
Does Timo Meyer have one? I think he does.
He has a modified one. He has a modified one. We give him a pass. He's fine.
I mean, I'm with you. I'm dead set against this. We've been dealing with it for 3 years now.
Right, exactly. Ridiculous. And the other thing I've always said is this. I will never criticize a player for exercising his right when he has a no trade or no move clause. That always goes back on the GM. Tom Fitzgerald has made mistake after mistake the last handful of years. And listen, as you know, Coach, I have defended Tom Fitzgerald numerous times. In public, on here, numerous times. But the fact of the matter is that this team has gotten progressively worse, progressively slower than they were several years ago when they had that 22-23 campaign. I go back to that numerous times because of the fact that that is really the turning point. It's really the turning point of where this team is now. And the bottom line for me is that they need new leadership. This is poor roster construction. I think at times Sheldon Keefe has done about as much as he can, and he's not going to get much more out of this team because he mentioned it himself. He mentioned 2 things. One, they have a lot of work to do to become a real hockey team. That is a very damning statement to make in public.
That's rough.
The second thing he said was after the last game before the break, he called his entire team mentally weak. And I think, honestly, he nailed it on the head. And that's coming from somebody who's very supportive. This team, when the chips, when everything is down and everything is going wrong, this team more often than not falls apart. And I've seen that for years now. That's what really angers most Devils fans is that we are so over this whole constant same story every year. People got to ask me every year, oh, can thus and so stay healthy? Oh, can they all stay healthy? And it's like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. At this point, your guess is as good as mine. Like, and
Do
that's
you
really
think
what's frustrating.
well, first of all, to me personally, I kind of question Sheldon Keefe. He couldn't do it with Toronto with an all-star team.
Yeah.
He couldn't do it with the Devils to be tanking like this, not even in the mix.
No.
I think they're a very talented team. So I understand. I agree with what you're saying with the GM. But my other question is, do you think the mental toughness? I mean, you look at a kid like Celebrini, he's got it. Bedard seems to have it. I just think it's this whole generational thing. I don't know.
I agree. No, I'm with you.
I mean,
with you
for that one interview on Instagram with Jack Hughes, it wasn't a US, it was an old interview where after his first season, he had a bad season. And he said, I was out of high school. I was questioning myself. Do I have it? Me and Eddie talk about it all the time. These kids need to develop as an adult. I think they're forced under this pressure where they're not mentally tough. Can they handle the strain of 80 games? It's a lot of pressure, like I was talking about before. So to me, that's what I'm questioning over on the whole.
Yeah.
Traveling, feeding yourself,
traveling, taking care of yourself, being an adult. I mean, these are all things that, for a lot of young players in this generation, they're so not used to, and they're trying to learn it almost essentially on the fly. They're trying to figure it out as they go along. We just talked about it with Jack Hughes, right? He's only 24 years of age, and we're saying now he's mature, but he's already been in the league since he was 18. And like you said, he talked about in the interview, I was in high school driving a car that my parents owned. And then the next year, I'm playing against Connor McDavid one night, Sidney Crosby the next, Pasternak the next. And it's
think about it, it's insane.
It's insane. We look at his fans and we go like, oh, what's the, some fans might say, oh, what's the big deal? But when you think about it from a player's perspective, yeah, any player would struggle with that. But I think with the Devils, honestly, what it comes back to is that there have been times where the team has essentially, not like publicly, but essentially has been begging their GM to do something to help them when they're struggling, not just the coach. And the GM sits pat, does nothing, and then makes these minor moves that don't help the team like he did last year, and constantly saying, oh, we finished in second. Oh, we had this, that, and the other thing. Look back at the Quinn Hughes trade, right? I mean, everybody's saying it, right? Quinn Hughes to the Devils this, Quinn Hughes to the Devils this. The bottom line is this. The Devils did not have the assets at all to make that deal work, and they didn't have the cap space. Why? Yep. Because Tom Fitzgerald has struggled for the most part with drafting and developing players. And on top of that, he has given out way too much money to certain players that it's just an overpay, and especially in free agency. Why do you think they got rid of Palat? Why do you think he was being criticized a lot for the lack of his play? Because he's getting paid $6 million a year. Why do you think Dougie Hamilton gets criticized as much as he does? Because he's getting paid $9 million a year, and they're not doing well. And so really, that's several of the many reasons why the Devils need new leadership, a fresh perspective, somebody that's going to create some life and juice into this franchise. Because right now, there isn't much of anything. And fortunately, if it wasn't for the Jack Hughes golden goal, if all the Devils players didn't do all that well in the Olympics and it was whatever, it would be even worse right now. Just the overall feeling in New Jersey.
You see, to me, the similarities are eerily similar to Toronto, and I don't understand because to me,
and the Rangers.
Again, all you guys talked about was Dougie Hamilton. That's all I heard. Dougie Hamilton. Now they want to get rid of him.
Right.
It's like the fans in this metro area just want to, they turn on people so easily. He was the savior 2 years ago. He was the best. They got Dougie Hamilton. The back line is secure. And then all of a sudden, it's like, we got to get rid of him. I don't know.
I think I think genuinely fans are always looking for a scapegoat. And I think the easiest thing they do right away is that they'll look at the players. But I often say this,
contracts.
Exactly. And I often say this, if the GM actually was doing his job correctly, nobody would be complaining about Dougie Hamilton.
Of course.
Nobody will be complaining about this than the other thing. The fact that, if the Devils look at the beginning of the year, look at the beginning of the year, the Devils went on an 8-game heater. At one point, they were 11-2-1. They were the best team in the league. Not a single person was complaining about them. Why would anybody complain about them? And then things fell apart, as they've done a handful of times over the last 6 years, and it's just really frustrating. And so I think that's where Devils fans' frustration comes in. I'm not trying to defend a lot of things they've said over the years, but I think that's where the frustration comes from, is that we've seen this story over and over and over again. And that's why I push for new leadership in the front office, a different perspective behind the bench as well. Like, you have to do something here to get it going, because you can't fire the owner, you can't fire the players. You can certainly trade them and things like that. Firing a coach is a scapegoat thing. If Tom Fitzgerald kept his job but Keefe got fired, that would be insane to me personally, because it would be like, why are you giving this GM yet another chance? And it goes back to the ownership. You have one owner that barely ever comes to a game, who's more focused on the Washington Commanders or 76ers, who also suck. It's not like they're doing any better than the Devils are doing right now. And you got David Blitzer, the other owner, who I've met numerous times, really nice guy. He's at every game, and I think I don't think he really knows exactly what to do. They don't have enough hockey people in there. And that's been my argument. Like, you need to hire people who know what they're doing and let them just do it. And I don't think that Tom Fitzgerald at this point knows what to do to save this team.
Are there any names out there that you would like to see behind the bench or in the front office?
Absolutely. Sonny Meta is the one that stands out to me. He works for the Florida Panthers right now. I believe he's one of the assistant GMs. He's actually from New Jersey, went to Ramapo High School. Very, very big on, he's a big analytics guy, but not like super crazy either. And it's a guy that's been a rising player in terms of being a future GM. And I think having someone like him coming in with a fresh perspective is good. I know that people have mentioned like Brendan Shanahan, but I think that ship has sailed. Honestly, I mean, we talk about it all the time. Coaches get recycled left and right in the NHL. GMs do it too. I mean, Peter Chiarelli's still working in the league. The GM of the Oilers, who was GM of the Red Wings at one point, he's still working in the NHL. I think for the Devils and for fans in general, they just want something new that you can have hope for, as opposed to doing the same thing over and over again, knowing the results. So that's one name that I've heard. I know people say, "Oh, what about Marty Brodeur?" I don't think Marty wants the job. I don't think he does. I think he wants to be in the front office, but I think being a GM is kind of the thing that he's less interested.
I think Neil just froze again. I mean, I think that's something that's very interesting, because Shanahan already has the relationship with Keefe in Toronto.
Yeah.
You froze. I'm not sure if you said something else there.
I was just mentioning Marty as well. Marty Brodeur. I know people were like, "Oh, we need to do this, or we need to bring Lou Lamoriello back." And I'm like, guys, that's going backwards. That's continuing to go backwards.
He's 86 years old.
Give the guy a break. Let him retire.
You guys need to one day look through Devil's Facebook, because that's where you get a lot of that. It is wild to me.
You have no idea. You want to talk about go over to Rangers land and see what we're dealing with.
I'm sure
JT Miller shouldn't be in the lineup for Team USA. What is Vinny Trocheck doing over? You're Ranger fans. You're not rooting for our guys. Whatever.
It's whatever. It's whatever. And I think it's funny because Coach was mentioning, in this metro area, everybody jumping on. I mean, you also think about the other teams that play in this area, right? Not just in hockey. You have the Knicks, you have the Jets, the Giants. You have and everybody does this. This is the Yankees as well. The Mets do it every year.
Yep.
Sorry, but it's the truth. Mets fans jump on somebody every year. Doesn't matter where the team is. That's just who we are, unfortunately. I'm not saying it with a sense of pride. It's just a fact that you could be a legend one day and you could be the biggest piece of what the next. That's just how it goes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's true.
It is. Do they do
So
that in like Utah?
I crap on Brian Cashman every day as a Yankee fan. I literally do it every single day because I'm so sick and tired of his old, you-know-what, being the GM of the Yankees. And like, that's just how it is. That's just how it goes because he sucks and we want to see better results.
Yeah, it's wild. You think this goes on in like Utah and like I don't know what other teams
No,
would be? Probably
no.
not, right?
Do you think this goes on do you think this goes on in like, I don't know. Do you think it honestly goes on a lot in Florida? No, probably
I mean,
not.
they're happy right now, so
They're
probably not.
happy, but they
That's
still don't
probably not the
sell. But
best
do the
example.
Panthers sell out every game? The answer is no. They're
No,
the two-time defending champions, and they still don't sell out during the regular season.
in Carolina too, same thing.
I have some friends in Carolina that like to complain every day, so but it depends on who you ask. Depends on who
Yeah,
you ask. So
yeah, that's funny. Well, Neil, what do you think about? I mean, if I remember correctly, you had the Devils finishing second in the Metro, I believe, when we did our episode, and you might have said first. I'm not
I
sure. I mean,
probably
hey, we
said
were
first.
with you. We were
Yeah,
with
I
you,
know. I
man.
believe you. Yeah.
I mean, I called the Rangers winning the Metro, so no
I know
one's
you
eating
did.
it more than I am. So, I mean, we're all surprised of how our teams are doing. I mean, you already said what the Devils you think of for the rest of the season. What do you think about the Rangers? I mean, what do you think the issues are? And like, what happened to the team this year? Because you were kind of thinking high of them going into this season, also with Sullivan and JT
Right.
Miller and everybody. So,
I
what are your
I like
thoughts
the
on that whole
Sullivan
situation?
hire. I wasn't.
Mm.
I thought it was. I thought it was necessary for what the Rangers have. Um, I think really it comes down to this. I think the Rangers need to legitimately rebuild, not like what they did the first time when Gordon put out that first letter and said like, "Oh, we're going to try to like retool essentially." And I think they need to strip it down a bunch and get younger and start really developing players because I think that the one knock I would say on the Rangers a lot is that they don't really develop a whole lot of players. I know that they have, Igor Shesterkin. They developed Henrik Lundqvist back in the day. Adam Fox is still a very talented player. There's other guys have come along, but I think it hasn't been consistent enough to where they have more young players that can really be consistent. So I think they need to get younger and move off from guys like Vincent Trocheck. With his value being about as high as it's going to be right now, I think you got to strike while the iron is hot. Personally, and you got to look to move some other guys. I know Alexis Lafreniere has been a name that has been thrown out there. It's kind of like Lafreniere is very similar to the Capo Caco situation, where I think he just needs a new place, a fresh start to go somewhere else. I didn't think the Rangers would be this bad. Like that's the thing that's shocking to me. Like last year when things happened, I was like, okay, they fell apart. Things, they clearly need something new.
Yeah.
I don't understand this year. I don't like, especially like look at the beginning of the year, how much you guys struggled at home.
Oh, it was
I was like,
disgusting.
what is happening? Every
They couldn't
home
score
game
a
you guys
goal.
were losing.
Yep.
And then, but you'd go on the road and look like cup contenders. Like it just didn't make sense to me. Then you would go to like Florida in the Winter Classic and you'd blow them out. Like I
It's
don't get it.
it's
Yeah,
been
but
a
that's
very
how bad
confusing
that's
season.
how bad Florida's doing too.
Exactly right. That's how bad they've been. I mean, shoot, and I think like
At least we won that game. We made the
How
trip.
How are the Devils doing at home this season?
they were doing very well at the beginning of the year. Right now, they're just kind of mediocre. They're kind of like middle of the pack, really.
Well,
They've been middle of
we just said it. It's the
the
hometown fans. I mean, you go. I know you haven't been to a game at the Garden in a while, but you go to a game at the Garden, it's not the same as what it used to be. There's a
yeah.
lot of
Oh,
boos. There's
look,
a lot of pin drops. There's a lot of
hell yeah.
silence. There's
I've
not a
been
lot
to
of
a lot of
cheers.
sporting events at the Garden. I was just at a St. John's game like 2 weeks ago, or no, last week. I know what it's like in that building. And I understand like the pressure that these players feel when they're playing in front of their home crowd, and especially when they're not doing well. And nobody wants to be booed either. And I've heard it plenty at the Prudential Center. Guys getting booed. Luke Hughes getting booed for 40 plus minutes after giving up 2 goals on his own.
And he's
Um,
what, 18 years old?
he's
Gonna
21.
ruin.
No,
Oh, he's
he's not even.
21
He's
already.
20. Like that. Like it comes down to like we as fans like to overreact a lot, right? Like that's how it goes in like the sports fandom. But there are people out there that genuinely do it just because they have nothing else to do and they like being miserable. Like that's what it comes down to. And I think for I know a lot like you guys. I know a lot of Ranger fans, and they all tell me the same thing. They go, "I'm so tired of this team not just accepting a rebuild and actually like doing it." And I think that like that's what the Rangers need because I think getting a young nucleus of players that the team can build around, I think would bring a lot of excitement to this organization. And also I think Chris Drury needs to go. Genuinely. I don't think like I wouldn't trust him with this rebuild if you were to ask me, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely gonna, I'd say, his last chance. And I mean, unfortunately, we just got to speak the truth. The rebuild's not going to happen. It's going to be the on the fly retool. We're just not. New Yorkers just aren't patient.
No,
Dolan's not patient. He wants to be back in the playoffs as soon as next year, which is why I don't. If that's their plan, I don't think they're going to trade Trocheck if they really want to make the playoffs next year.
and that's
That's
the
my
problem,
opinion.
right? I mean,
It
and
may or may
James
not be
Dolan,
the right move. What?
I was gonna say James Dolan already gave Chris Drury all the confidence. Like I believe, and
Right.
it's like, see, that's the problem. And everybody says, "Oh, well, you know, look at what he did with the Knicks. Why can't he do it with the Rangers?" What he did with the Knicks is that he hired people who knew what they were doing and then left them alone because he was so interested in his sphere. That's why the Knicks are where they are. And the Knicks didn't rebuild. They
Yeah.
retooled. And it worked. Don't get me wrong, but they already had young pieces there before they got good. And then they traded for Jalen Brunson. And that's what's changed everything. The
Yeah.
Rangers haven't done that, and they need to bring in people like same thing with the Devils who know what they're doing and understand what it takes to build a good team. And then Dolan needs to just stay the hell out the way. I think that Dolan has meddled with the Rangers too much, and I think ultimately that's one of the reasons why I think they're having issues right now.
Yeah. No, that's always the buzz that he's a little too involved. You hear the theory or the rumors about the first round pick at the Sphere and all that nonsense and whatever else floats
Yep.
around. I mean, whatever. It's tough.
Yeah.
They're starting to get younger. They are. I hear you there. I agree with you. You got Perot is exciting. Cooley is constantly improving. Lava is having a great year. It's just
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting because like I said, the rebuild's not going to happen, especially with Igor and net. Sullivan behind the bench.
I can
They
hear the
just gave him like a
frustration in your
5 year.
voice.
They gave him a 5 year deal, so they're not firing him anytime soon. And I don't think
Yeah.
he wants to go through a rebuild.
No.
So,
Tough.
yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. I'm sure you're licking your chops as a Devils fan, but I don't know. We'll see. Things
I'm
could
not.
turn. I also
You would
said
think
this
I
year was
would, but
gonna
I'm
be.
not because like look how bad the Devils are. What do I don't have any ground to
Yeah,
stand on. Like it's not like I like what am I going to say? Oh, at least we have, Jack Hughes. Like that like oh great. Like
yeah.
the team sucks. Like you
I
know what I
have.
mean? Like we I was just with my buddy Jimmy Finizzi from the Blue Seats podcast and I was saying to him I said, "Dude, these games in March are going to be awful." Because it's like both teams are battling to be who's worse. Like
Yeah,
that's really where it comes down to. And I'm like, I've said this before. I don't think the NHL does not benefit from both the Devils and Rangers not being good. I think like they we know how big the rivalry is and how many people outside of the New York media talk about it. Um, it sucks when our teams are not doing well, and I think it sucks even more when you look at what the Islanders are doing this year.
yeah. Well, speaking of that, we got Sean backstage. We're gonna have him on next. But yeah, you said it best. I think it's good for the league. It's good for us fans. It's exciting when all three teams are doing well. You got the Battle of the Hudson, Battle
Sure.
of New York. That year with the Stadium Series was super fun when the Rangers played both teams.
Yeah.
The league really benefits with things like that, no doubt. And hopefully it gets back to that point soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, Neil, thank you very much for joining us, man.
Of course,
Before we
guys.
let you go, what do you want to plug? Obviously, Devil State of Mind podcast. Check that out on all platforms and YouTube. But what else you got? What else you working on? I know you're in school, right?
Not yet. July, first week of July, I move
Oh,
up to
right, the summer.
Syracuse, New York, and start my master's program at Syracuse University. So, in a
Oh
couple
boy,
months, when you guys have me back on in the summer, I'll be in a completely different. I'll be in a completely different position, but I'll
love
still
that.
be. I'll still be like reaching distance to go to games when I have the time. Um, but Yeah, you can also check out a lot of the writing work that I do. I work for Pucks and Pitchforks over on Fansided, which covers the Devils. I also work for a website called The Lead. I'm part of their NHL coverage where I write just about anything NHL related. That's basically what I do. And again, with the podcast, subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. I'm very close to 200 subscribers. So if you guys haven't already, please do so.
That's
And
awesome.
follow the podcast on social media at Devil State on Twitter and Devil State of Mind both on Facebook and Instagram. And follow my TikTok, Neil.Villapiano, where I post content over there, Devils content, hockey content. And follow my Blue Sky account as well. Just search my name, Neil Villapiano, and I'll give you Devil State of Mind and Devils updates as well. And that's what I got going on. And guys, thank you so much for having me on again. It's great to see both of you. And I look forward to seeing you guys again soon.
You're welcome, buddy.
Pleasure as always, Neil.
Yeah.
Of course.
Let's go
Good luck
USA.
in your-
Let's go Jack Hughes for one more day.
One more
We'll
day?
give him
All
one
right,
more
one
day.
Good luck up in Syracuse. Talk to you soon, bud.
Yeah,
Thank
maybe
you,
we'll
boss.
catch one of those. Are you going to the game in Prudential?
I'm going to try to, yeah. I'm going to try
All
to.
right,
If the
we'll-
tickets are
we'll
fairly
talk. Maybe we'll-
reasonable, I think I'll go.
Yeah,
So-
maybe we'll get there. We'll have to meet you in person actually for once.
Sounds good. Looking
All
forward
right,
to
buddy.
it.
Good
All right.
talking to you. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot.
Later, guys. Thank you.
All right, as always, Neil. Great talking to Neil. He's very knowledgeable about the Devils. Just wants his team to do well, just like all of us. Coach, you got any thoughts about the Devils before we move on?
I mean, yeah, it's just interesting to hear his perspective of the way all of a sudden, I can't believe they have all these no trade clauses too. It's something I'm not too familiar with, obviously, with the Devils contracts. It's frustrating for me as a Rangers fan, so I understand his feeling.
Yeah. So, all right, let's go into the last fourth and final stop of the Rivalry Tour. Let's head on over to Belmont and catch up with Sean Cuthbert from Hockey Night in New York. There he is. What's up, bud?
What's up, boys?
Shawnee,
You survived.
How we doing, fellas?
You survived the mob at Borelli's on Sunday.
Oh yeah, and what a mob it was!
Yes.
Fantastic day, lots of fun, packed from front to back, and obviously everybody had a blast. Given the result, exciting times.
Yeah, saw a
Nice.
few of your videos. Looked very packed. I mean, the semifinal game was packed, so I can't even imagine what the gold medal game was looking like. So I'm glad you had fun, success, and all that good stuff. And what were your thoughts on the game, just in general? And we talked to you about the Olympics at your show, but what were your thoughts on how it turned out or wrapped up?
It was phenomenal, right? I mean, it was kind of like in a little bit of a way a David versus Goliath, maybe more than a David, but you had the favorites of Canada, right, going into this tournament before anybody stepped on the ice. They were going for gold. Everybody knew it. And, U.S. gets in there. They got better as it went along, as the tournament went along, I feel like. And by the time they played Canada, I mean, let's face it, guys, like, barring some huge heroics and a couple of baby miracles, the U.S. won that game, right? But, I mean, it was edge of your seat hockey. Hellebuck was unbelievable. I think all the naysayers can finally, shut up about that guy because he was amazing. It was just a great narrative, right? It goes to overtime. I mean, give me 5-on-5 for crying out loud. But it was just an amazing game. Like once they killed that 5-on-3, boys, that's when I was like, they got a shot here,
Yep.
I mean, because that was amazing in itself, right? Because you look at, the firepower coming up there on a 5-on-3 from Canada, and you're like, okay, hopefully they only get one. And, they kill the whole thing off. They go perfect for the whole tournament on the kill. And I feel like that's when I was like, U.S. has a shot here. This might be able to happen. And what a shot from Jack Hughes to finish it up. And it was bedlam at Borelli's after that.
Yeah, that place was probably going crazy. But yeah, you said it, man. What's the cliche? If you don't score on a 5-on-3, you don't deserve to win the game. And especially
right.
if you have the lineup that Team Canada has, if you don't score on that 5-on-3, you definitely don't deserve to win the game. But yeah, another big star of the whole weekend was your old boy Brock Nelson. What was it like seeing old Brocky in a Team USA uniform and being able to root for him again?
I had my Brock Nelson Eastern Conference All-Star jersey on, actually. That was made by our pal Oscar. Did a phenomenal job with that. So I was kind of like, bringing the juju for Brock. And no, he had an outstanding tournament. And another great storyline, right? Where he has the lineage with his family, 3 generations,
God.
I think it was, right?
That's
Another
crazy.
gold medal. I mean, it's just, you can't write this stuff, right? And I'm sure you guys saw the whole the Jack Hughes thing, right? Where a guy that got cut from the 80s team, his name was Jack Hughes, and then another Jack Hughes scores the game-winning goal. So just all the storylines are crazy. But yeah, it was awesome to see Brock Nelson not only get in, but also, you know, kind of put a stamp on it. He had a great tournament, scored some goals.
Yep.
So yeah, man. You know, passion, you know, energy's high, man. Everything's great.
Yeah, I mean, you are nothing but smiles from you the whole season. Islanders have been shocking the entire hockey world. I mean, what are your thoughts on the season? Before we spoke to you, you kind of were just hoping for the best, an entertaining season. You were excited for Schaefer. You weren't really thinking playoffs really or at all. So obviously that's changed. I mean, give it to us. What do you got?
Well, I did have to laugh when I saw the plug, you know, for the show tonight saying, oh, the Islanders' shocking season, like as if this could never have happened, as if they had no chance whatsoever of having any success. So I got a good laugh out of that. But it's nice that, you know, after watching you and Neil talk, we can talk about the best hockey team in the New York metro area. No, it's been great. It's been a great ride. I mean, all that being said, man, like, and you know, we've talked about this earlier in the season. Like, my expectations were low, and you don't really know what you're going to get until they hit the ice. You have the turnover with the general manager and Darsh. It seems like nearly everything that Darsh has done so far has turned to gold. Yeah. You got guys contributing in different ways, and obviously Schaefer. You can't say anything more about that kid. He has been just astronomically better than I think any of us thought he was going to be from jump. I thought he was going back to juniors after 9 games. And the fact that, you know, not only is that not the case, but I mean, he's pretty much a lock for the Calder, and he's a huge reason why this team is where it is. So it's been gravy, man. Like, you know, hopefully the wheels don't fall off between here and April, because I want to see some playoff hockey, but it's been a super fun season, and it looks like they're setting themselves up for maybe some extended success in the years to come. So again, all smiles, man.
Yeah. Nice. Schaefer's been playing a lot more hockey than he's used to, for sure. Do you think that he could have helped Canada? Or were you a little bummed that he didn't get the call? Or are you kind of happy that he's getting the 2-week reset a little bit here?
Was I bummed? No, because they lost.
No,
but,
you know, like,
no, to your point, I know what you're saying. No, because you know what, like, as my my pal Mikey Carver said on the show on Sunday, this is the one and only Olympics that kid's gonna miss for the rest of his career. And did he deserve to be there? I mean, you could certainly make a case, right? But you know, Canada can field an A team, a B team, and maybe even a C team in the Olympics if they could. And you know, again, young, just came in, like, you know, you have coaches, or you have, you know, the front office that, you know, they like their guys. Like, I know people were kind of groaning about Drew Doughty going with his age and everything like that. So yeah, could a case have been made for him? Sure. Am I upset that he didn't go? No, because you talk about the amount of games he's getting, and he goes from 17 last season to playing a full NHL season now. I mean, that kid probably could use the 3-week break, you know, so let him have some fun, let him relax, and come here for the stretch, because now they got playoff hockey from here on out.
I mean, he is having a lot of success this year, and kudos to him. I watched him a few times. I saw him live twice. Kid could play hockey, could flat out play, but it's one thing, like we've learned over the years, being successful in the NHL and then being successful best on best. So maybe they wanted to just wait a little bit, let him get a little more mature physically, and you know, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
especially playing defense.
Problem.
No, it's fine with me. I'm with you, Sean.
Yeah, doesn't bother me.
All the excuses came out after they lost. That's all I know.
They did the 5-on-5 overtime, or, you know, this and that. You know, I mean, there was the too many men that wasn't called. That probably should have been called. But at the same time, I mean, you had McKinnon on the doorstep. He whiffed on a shot there. Obviously, Taves with the miraculous save from Hellebuck. Look, they had their chances.
The 5-on-3. Give me a break. That game should have been over.
Right. And not only that, but I'll give them this, though. If the Olympics was a 7-game series in the final, they're winning 4 games before the U.S. is. But
but it's not. I mean, that's what Russia was about in 1980.
It's the one game. You have one chance for everything to go the right way, and boy, did it ever. I mean, everything just banked the right way for the U.S. and first gold medal in 46 years, whatever it is, and it's incredible. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, back on the Schaefer thing, where do you see this kid going? Like, what's his ceiling? You see him as like the future captain of the team? What's his deployment like this season so far? Obviously, he's the number one defenseman, but you're talking penalty kill, power play, 28, 30 minutes a night with the letter on his chest, or what are we looking at here?
I mean, we can pump the brakes on the letter, I think, for a little while. I wouldn't be surprised if they brought Anders back for a year or two. I know if there's any Islander fans listening, they're probably not too happy to hear that. And I could be wrong. But I mean, he'll probably stick for another year or two. If he does, he'll keep the C. And I think after that, it's going to Bo Horvat. I think he's next in line for the captain, whether that's next season or whenever Anders does move on. So I don't think there's any rush to throw a C on Schaefer's chest. I mean, let's remember, guys, he just turned 18 right before the season started. And there's plenty of leaders in that room where, you know, there's just, they don't have to slap the C on him, right? I mean, even Matt Barzell, he's been one of the top guys on the team for years now. And I don't even know if he's ever worn an A, you know, on it like a guy when a guy's been injured or anything like that off the top of my head. And he's a guy who, you know, he's a leader in that locker room now. And he doesn't, you know, even though he's considered a star on the team, he doesn't need a letter to show that. So, I mean, for Schaefer, depending on how things go with the franchise in the future, sure. Like, you know, Horvat's, you know, not old, but he's not young either. So Schaefer, you know, knock on wood, will be a friend, you know, a long-term player on this team. So yeah, I'm sure after, you know, well after Horvat's done with it, yeah, Schaefer's probably the next guy in line. And as far as just his performance on the ice, I mean, he's already logging around 25 minutes a night. That'll probably go up. And I'm sure whether it's Patrick Waugh or whoever's behind the bench while he's there, they'll put him out there as long as he's ready to go. Because he's been absolutely unbelievable. It's scary to think how much better he could be, given that he's only just stepped into the league. He's only 18. He's still got to put his, you know, man body on, you know, put that man muscle on. So he's going to become a tougher player, a more well-rounded player. He's still adjusting and getting used to the league. He hasn't played NHL playoff hockey yet. So that's going to be a whole experience for him too. So, I mean, the sky's the limit, you know, just stay healthy and keep learning. And you talk about a kid who has an amazing attitude on his shoulders. He's unbelievable. Like just a total package. I still can't believe he's an Islander.
Yeah. Coach, you want to ask about Patrick Waugh? Or I had a question.
Go ahead, shoot.
I mean, basically, it was more of like a general question in terms of, I think like last year we were discussing like his relationship with certain players. I mean, how he handles things in the media. This year, he got in a little bit of trouble with Duclair. Was that this year or last year already?
Last year.
That was last year already. So I think, you know, right, because then he apologized over the summer and they patched things up. How are things going with
Montreal
that?
to see him.
There you go. That's a great thing. I mean, similar with Sullivan. Well, he only drove to Montreal. Sullivan flew all the way to Sweden. But it's okay.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
But no, what has his relationship been like? It seems like he's kind of learning a lesson or two in managing these players' emotions and stuff like that. So what have you been seeing this season that might have been changing the direction?
Yeah, I think, well, for one, I think he learned a lot just from his stint with Colorado years ago, right? Because, you know, we knew him as a fiery guy when he was a player. And he brought that to the bench when he was with Colorado. And I think he learned that he was going to have to dial that back to step back in, right? Because he ends up leaving Colorado. He doesn't get a job for a while. He does a great job in juniors. And he finally gets a shot. And, you know, he's talked about it too. He's been interviewed about it. And, you know, he feels he's grown or he's matured, and you see it. And I think even working with Lou Lamoriello prior to this season, he knew he kind of had to maybe reel in those that inner fire a little bit, you know. I think we've seen a little more of it this season. He's a little more himself. And, but all in all, he's definitely dialed that stuff back. But the players have had nothing but great things to say about him. They love playing for him. Maybe Anthony Duclair wasn't a huge fan at the end of last year. But all in all, it seems like, you know, they really enjoy playing. JG Pajot, just on the show on Sunday at Borelli's, he was saying how much he loves to play for him. So, you know, he's been getting good reviews from the players. And, you know, you look at like how things went last year, and, you know, fans started to sour on him a little bit. And you're like, I don't know if this is the guy. And, you know, we wondered if Darsh was even going to bring him back, right? Because a new GM comes in and you hear the whole, you know, the old line that they like to bring in their own guy. So there was a chance he could have let Waugh go. He stuck with him. And so far, you know, it looks like it was the right idea. He's got them, you know, in a playoff spot pretty much all season. And it seems like he has some real buy-in from the players, and he's been using this mantra of joy all season. They actually have some great behind the scenes episodes. I think one just dropped tonight, funny enough, is this new access to the players and to the locker room now that Lamarillo's gone. And you really get to see how he interacts with them and how he speaks to them. He's always talking about having joy on the ice and having fun. And it seems like the team's really bought into that. So it's hard to knock them. You know, they've been playing really well under him, especially given the roster and the shock about what they're doing this year. So
hey, you were shocked.
Let's just say they have the best
pleasantly
record.
Surprised.
Yeah. Let's just say they have the best record in the metro area. Let's not say they're the best team.
Sure. Oh, sure.
What does that mean? Explain that one.
Now you sound like Team Canada, coach. So let's pump the brake.
No, I got to say, Patty Boy's. I think he definitely came around. I think he has a very good way of, I don't want to say calling out players, but getting messages to his players without pointing a finger and what needs to be done. And I think he does a very good job. From what I don't watch every one of his press conferences. I do see some of them, but I think he does a good job of being the boss and showing a little leeway. I don't know if I'm wording that right, but I think that's where he matured a lot, and he's got them playing. He's got them buzzing right now for sure. So
he does.
Yeah, it seems like what I was going to say about him, it's like almost like a fair weather situation. If like things are going bad, I feel like his anger or frustrations might come out the wrong way, kind of like last year. And now this year things are going really well. So I mean, what's there to be upset or mad at, right? So, you know, I mean, it is interesting. I mean, I rooted for him as a player. Obviously, we don't root for the Islanders, but it's good to see, like, I guess people in the hockey world learning and adapting, especially as coaches. It's something we can appreciate. So obviously the Islanders are pleasantly surprising you.
Yes,
do you think they pleasantly surprised the GM, and do you think he's going to be a buyer or a seller at the deadline? What do you think the plans are right now, or you think he's kind of going to stay pat?
He's already been a mini buyer, right? Bringing in Palat and bringing in your boy Susie, right?
Yeah.
You know, just padding the roster
big
a little
trade
bit.
for the Rangers rebuild.
Right. Well, I think even that is a small indication that, you know, he's trying to pad this team for success. Now, nobody's, you know, going home and raving about either one of those guys, especially the age of Palat, right? But, you know, it's an indication that he's added rather than subtracted. And I think that's another indicator that if the right move comes along, I think he will add to this team for a playoff run. I think, you know, I think that's the goal here. I mean, he said that coming in, and every general manager is obviously going to say that, right? The goal is to make the playoffs and have success. But I think, you know, with the way this team has come out, with the way that it's playing, Sorokin is having himself a banner year. You got to take advantage of that. You know, Horvat was having a fire year before he got hurt, and thankfully he's back now. And hopefully that Olympic experience, he can forget about the gold medal game and come back and score some more goals. But listen, I don't have any, you know, false expectations that they're going on a deep run to the Cup Finals, right? That being said, though, I think it's great for this team to get into the playoffs and take it as far as you can. And they certainly suddenly have a cupboard full of assets where if they want to add somebody of significance, they can. And Darsh isn't going to get rid of everybody. He definitely has a forward-looking plan for the future. So he's not giving away the 2 first rounders he has. He's not going to give away Eklund or Aitchison, those kids that they drafted over the summer. But he certainly has some capital to work with, where if there's a player that's being dangled out there, I think he'll go for it. And I think he's going to try to help this team, you know, make the playoffs.
I mean, if anything, you got to almost reward them and give them a little bit of confidence, you know,
For sure.
heading into the playoffs. Even if they don't make it or they don't make much noise, it's just something to build on for next year. I mean, you don't want to go out and get a rental. You want to try to get someone that might have like 2 or 3 years left, you know, something like that. So yeah, that's a good point. Do you foresee them, I guess, making the push? And you said they're not going to win the cup. I mean, how do you feel about making past the first round? Once you get in, anything can happen, especially with Sorokin being this hot. I questioned him a lot before the season. He had a terrible season last year. I mean, he's back. But that also has a lot to do with the defense and everything. Tony DeAngelo is a defensive stalwart for you guys.
He's been shockingly good. If you want to use that
Pleasantly
word.
surprisingly good.
Yes. Well, in fairness, though, to Sorokin, I think I don't have it in front of me, and I don't pay attention to this stuff all the time. But the Islanders, if they weren't giving up the most high danger chances, they were giving up close to the most and a lot. So, that speaks a lot to how he's playing between the pipes. Yes, the defense is better. Yes, they're giving him a better shot to stop pucks. But if you're still giving up a ton of high danger chances, that means your goalie's doing some work back there. So credit is definitely where it's due. And, that's that whole, I'm not an advanced stats guy, but I know a lot of people go by goals saved above average and all that. And that's why he's, big in the Vezina conversation and all that. And apparently his is through the roof. So he's been playing great. But to get to the original part of your question, it's funny. I was kind of ranting about this not too long ago about just the stupid playoff format that they have. They got to go back to 1v8, 2v7 and all that. Because now at that moment in time when I was, whining on Twitter, was you had Pittsburgh and the Islanders, even though they were the 7th and 8th best teams in the conference, if the playoffs had started that day, they would be playing each other in the first round. So basically the two worst teams to make the playoffs in the East would be rewarded by playing each other rather than having to deal with, a Tampa or a Carolina or whatever it is, right? So let's say it stays that way, right? Let's say it's the Islanders Pens, or the Pens fall out because Crosby's going to miss a month now at least, right? And then you have maybe a team like Columbus that comes in, or a team that Washington comes in, and you might play them in the first round. And you don't have to worry about, one of the more powerhouse teams like Carolina, if you want to consider them that. Then yeah, I think they absolutely can get through a round for sure. Especially with a goalie like Sorokin back there, right? I mean, goalies win you series in the playoffs.
Yep.
So I could certainly see a round 2. Could they finally exercise the Carolina Demon in the second round? Not willing to put any money on that, but why not? Why not give it a shot, right? So I'd love to see them go as far as they can go, and if Sorokin can pick up where he hopefully leaves off with the regular season here, anything's possible.
What do you think? Do you think this break is going to hurt them? Because they were on a pretty good roll going into the break.
Talking to Pajot, he made it. I asked him point blank. I was like, "Did this come at a good time for you guys?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "We needed it." And I don't know if he speaks for the whole team, but he was happy to have the break. So it was nice, I guess, to kind of unwind a little bit, get away from the rink. Because look, guys, they have this condensed schedule, right? They're playing a lot of back-to-back games. And, that takes a toll whether you're 24 or 34. So, yes, could it hurt their momentum? Sure. But the truth is, they rattled off a couple of wins before the break, but they were kind of playing 500 there for a little bit. So they weren't really lighting the league on fire. So, who knows? Maybe recharging the batteries helps them. I hope it does take Columbus off of their game, because not only are they 4 points behind the Islanders right now after rattling off 11 out of 12, but they play the Jackets on Saturday in Columbus. So, I'm hoping I hope they had a little too much fun on their break, but it's tough to say, right? I mean, and I'm sure there's guys that were nursing injuries that you don't hear about. So you get 3 weeks to, be on the mend for a little bit. So maybe there's a few guys in the squad that, get a little more jump that you didn't even know about. So I think it's a good thing. And obviously I'll come back in 3 weeks if they go on a 7-game losing streak and say it was terrible. But as of right now, I think it's a good thing.
You mentioned Barzal before. I mean, as an outsider, he's always been one that seems like you, as an Islander fan, you would want more from. How's he doing this year offensively? And is that still something that the Islanders would need moving forward? Is maybe moving on from him or getting someone that can complement him a little bit better? I feel like they still don't have that offensive star.
Yeah, I mean, God, it's basically been 2 to 3 decades since the Islanders have had a 40-goal winger. You know what I mean? Like Lee did it once, Jason Blake did it once, and I think the last guy who did it with any near consistency before that was Ziggy Palffy. So we're reaching here, man. They have Horvat and
Ziggy Palffy.
Yeah, remember that guy? They've recently put Barzal back with Horvat. It looks like that's what they're going to go with from here on out, which I think is a good idea, and hopefully that'll help. But yeah, they could definitely use another scorer. I mean, you want to talk about the trade deadline, and if they could get a guy like Jordan Kyrou, a guy who's had 3 30-goal seasons under his belt, bring him on. If that's a guy they can get. I know he's struggled a little bit more recently, but maybe a change of scenery and playing next to a guy like Barzell who can dish in the puck, and then all of a sudden you're getting points everywhere, right? So yeah, I think they need another guy like that. It's very much score by committee after Horvat, and Barzell, he's been having a good season. Output wise, he's putting up points. He's not too far off from a point per game. And the only listen with Matt Barzell, skills up the wazoo. If I had it my way, he would shoot the puck more because he actually does have a really good shot. So I wish he would just pull the trigger every now and then because he's one of those guys who he's a self-admitted playmaker. He's a setup man. So every now and then, or maybe more than every now and then, you're seeing him look past when he could have just fired on the net. And even if it doesn't go in, he gets a rebound for the guy he freaking passed to, right? So shoot more, Matty. But other than that, if you want to nitpick, sure, he dances around the zone a little more than you might like. He holds, he rags the puck a little more than you might like sometimes. And it may be a reason why the power play struggles as much as it does because they really let him kind of dictate what's happening with the puck and
looking for the perfect pass.
Yeah, and they have enough guys on that squad where they're not McDavid's and McKinnon's and all that, but they have guys that can score. And there's really no excuse for them to be 32nd overall in the league. So, is he perfect? No, but he's still one of the top guys. He's definitely the top playmaker. He's definitely the top assist man. He's got the speed. He's got the skills. So I love him as an Islander, and I accept his imperfections, fellas.
You're very forgiving, Sean.
Yeah, I try to be a nice guy. I forgive you. You're a Ranger fan. I forgive you.
Sean, you shouldn't have to try to be a nice guy. You should just be a nice guy.
Let me rephrase. Hopefully, I'm.
I mean, Barzell definitely has the skill, and even if he's not doing it all, he's someone who the other team has to reckon with. So, if anything, he opens up ice for other players. So, that's a positive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and hopefully, him and Horvat connect a little more. This season going out, and it looks like one of the reasons why they're doing that is because they found more confidence in Callum Ritchie. They basically put him in Barzell's spot on the second line. He's looked really good. He's certainly not progressing as quickly as Matt Schaefer, but he's coming along well, and I think he's actually going to be a big part of this team. He's probably the replacement for Brock Nelson.
Who's Schaefer's D partner? Has he had a consistent one the whole year?
He's been playing with Ryan Pulock, and he's had a bit of a resurgence this year. So is Adam Pelech. They look like the Pelech and Pulock of old. Pelech's playing with your boy D'Angelo. Why is that funny?
No, the two names are just so Pelech and Pulock. It's just Sam Rosen always gave us a lot of laughs with that one.
Butch Goring, fellas. It's always a joy. He's trying to name those guys. But he's been playing with Ryan Pulock, and they've been a very good D pairing. And Pelech and Pulock were a staple together for years. You couldn't separate them, and they were starting to decline a little bit. Everybody was getting concerned. In fact, last year, this time around the trade deadline, you had Islander fans calling for unloading those guys, like get their contracts out of here, get what you can for them, and reshuffle the deck on D. Obviously, they hang on to them, and both of those guys have definitely resurged here.
Would that be something you think that they would be going after as well? Maybe like a more consistent, well, not consistent. You sounds like he is one, but someone to really like anchor Schaefer, like maybe someone more defensive minded, like in the future.
I think,
or you think they're satisfied, or are you satisfied with Pelech?
Well, Pulock in the, I get it, boys. In the immediate, I think it's fine. Because again, I think they have kind of like a 2-3 year roadmap here,
Right.
So I eventually think we're, going to see a replacement for Pulock up there. And he has kind of morphed into more of a defensive minded player. Like when he came up through the league initially, he has that bomb of a slap shot that never hits the net. But he was kind of, billed as more of an offensive producing defenseman, and he's kind of morphed into more of a defensively responsible guy. And so in that respect, he's actually complemented Schaefer really well. But
Yeah.
I do think that, down the road, as Pullock gets to age a little more, ideally, you find somebody, who can kind of be like, and I'm just pulling the first pairing out of my head here, but like, you look at like a Duncan Keith, Brent Seabrook pairing, right? Like they were one of the tops there for years in Chicago. And if you can get somebody next to Schaefer that can, compliment them there, I mean, go for it. There's money coming off the cap finally. I don't know who that guy is right now. And they do have a lot of guys on the left side, which Schaefer is on as well. So maybe, they dangle somebody to balance the right side, because the right side is the one that kind of needs a little more help as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Not only there, and as pleasantly surprising as Tony D'Angelo has been, I don't think he's, a long-term look there either. So I think they're eventually going to have to replace him on the right side. And Scott Mayfield is Scott Mayfield. He's a bottom pairing guy. He's a physical guy, a little slower of foot. He's not putting too many points on the board. So yeah, unsurprisingly, long-winded answer to your question. Eventually, I think they will find a younger and more skilled running mate for Matthew Schaefer.
Yeah, I feel like
God forbid something happens to Sorokin. Can they sustain this? Is this defense as good as you're saying without
Coach? Why would you?
Well,
why?
I'm asking a question because you're touting this defensive core, and look, I question the Rangers defense without Shesterkin all the time. I'm asking you a question: Is this defense that you're touting to be so good able to sustain?
I don't know if I said they're so good.
Game lapse.
Well, they have already. Sorokin went down earlier in the year, and Dave Riddick was awesome during that time. Since Sorokin's gotten healthy in the more recent games that Riddick's gotten in to relieve him, he's been a little shakier. So maybe Riddick's coming back down to earth a little bit, because he was excellent from the start of the season. So obviously that would be dreadful, Coach, and I'm hoping we can keep good karma here with that. But no, they'd be in trouble. They'd be in trouble.
I didn't say it. I'm asking you a scenario.
Well, look, I mean, how many teams can really withstand losing one of the best goaltenders in the world, right? Because, the truth is, like, this isn't a Robin Leonard, Thomas Greiss pairing. This isn't a Semyon Varlamov, Ilya Sorokin pairing. They finally have more of that, contrast between starter and backup, right? So if Sorokin goes down, then I would be shocked, boys, if the Islanders made the playoffs. So that would be terrible. Don't speak of it again.
I'll try not to. I'm just wondering. I don't watch the Islanders on a daily basis. I'm wondering how good they are playing as a team defensively, if they would be able to weather the storm.
Only it would fall on Riddick's shoulders, because as I was saying before, fellas, the high danger shots are plentiful. And so if Riddick isn't there to bail them out when they give up those chances, then they're gonna fall down the standings. Yeah.
Okay, so they got some work to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that was going to be my next question before he jumped in about, I guess, Schaefer again. I'm just so intrigued by the kid. He's obviously a little bit more offensive minded, but from what I've seen or from what I've heard, his defensive game doesn't struggle that much. Who would you compare him to? I mean, don't say Bobby Orr. But who would you compare him to, like, more recently?
Why would I?
Well, that's all I hear on the NHL Network is he's
no. Why would I compare him to Bobby Orr? Because he's breaking all his records.
Well, someone maybe I would be more familiar with, or our fans would be more familiar with, in terms of his style of play. We're not looking at an Erik Karlsson here, right? We're looking at more.
No. And listen, I don't have a name at the top of my head, so I'll just talk about his game. And yes, offensive speed, smart. I mean, smart beyond his years, and he's got a good stick. And even when he does jump in the play, he gets on his horse and he's back checking. He's more times than not catching a guy who might end up on a break to thwart that opportunity. He really is a very dynamic, complete package. Like he's not an Erik Karlsson. He's a guy who can play defensively. They've trusted him on the PK as well. And I'm sure they're kind of just dipping their toes in the water there right now, because again, he needs to get some more years under his belt. But I mean, I don't know, fellas, think about a top, well-rounded defenseman, right? I mean, I don't think it's unfair to throw him in the same boat as guys like Makar and stuff like that. I mean, sure, it's early, but I mean, Makar is considered the best defenseman in the game right now, right? And Schaefer's not there yet. But if he continues on the trajectory he's on, he's gonna listen. He is absolutely going to be in the Norris conversation in the very near future. And it's not just because of the points on the board. It's because he plays a two-way game.
That's interesting.
What's his plus minus?
I don't know, coach. I have all this stuff in front of me. I can look for you, but I don't have it in front of me. But also not really a stat I care about. He's a +9, fellas. +9.
Nice.
Third on.
That's pretty damn good for a rookie defenseman that is touted to be offensive minded, for sure.
Yeah, he's a +9. He's third on the team in points. I'm just, going through the stat line right now. He's got 4 game-winning goals. He's got 28 penalty minutes. What else you want to know?
All right.
Getting back to the captaincy thing, I wanted to interject there because maybe, captain isn't for everybody. Brian Leach didn't want it. They kind of threw it on him.
Yeah.
He didn't really want it. He didn't feel he wanted to be that guy in the locker room. And he was more than glad to give it to Messier back when he came back. So, not necessarily, it's not necessarily that he's going to become a captain. If he seems like he's very open and friendly and breaks balls. And, his attitude, I think, is very good. Again, like you said, mature for his age, for sure.
He absolutely has the personality to be a captain. If he wants it and it opens up one day, he is absolutely capable of being a captain. He is, again, wise beyond his years, extremely personable. He's got the confidence. It's all there. So yeah, if one day, there comes a time where Anders Lee or Bo Horvat isn't in the room anymore, then he's easily the next guy in line, assuming a few years down the road. I'm not giving it to an 18-year-old right now, but down the road, absolutely.
Yeah, seems like everyone's already following him. I mean, the team has taken a huge step or resurgence with him in the lineup. I mean, you bring the energy, everyone's going to follow, right? He doesn't need a letter on his chest to be a leader. Leads by example already as an 18-year-old. It's crazy. I definitely got to watch more games of his. I'm not going to lie. I definitely don't watch every game. Haven't watched many games of his start to finish. So definitely on my to-do list to get a more of a, sample count or whatever. So yeah, man. I mean, that's pretty much it. What's been going on with Hockey Night in New York? What do you want to plug? Where can our fans find you if they want to hear some Islanders talk?
Well, we had a blast at Borelli's recently for a couple of those USA games. You were hanging out with us for the Germany game. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, of course, man. Had a great chat with Cal Clutterbuck that day. Had a great chat with Pajot, as I mentioned before, on Sunday. So that's been a lot of fun. Going to try to get in there before the season's over, maybe even for playoffs. So certainly love doing the live events, and we'll be chatting with you about that stuff. As far as everything else, Sunday nights at 8:00, barring scheduling conflicts like the Islanders playing this Sunday. We're doing a 5:00 pregame on Sunday before they play the Panthers at 6:30. You can check us out at hockeynightny.com. You can check us out on all social media platforms at hockeynightny. You can follow myself on Twitter at Shawnee Hockey. You can follow my co-host Arthur Staple at Stape NHL. He's also
mention Arthur.
Yeah, he's doing the Tri-State Pod with Johnny Lazarus and Mike Rupp. They do a great job over there. Yeah, man. So we're along for the ride, and we'll be doing it every week.
I got one more question for you. How are we supposed to go back to watching the NHL after watching those games?
That's a fair question, because didn't it start out slow, boys? I feel like the beginning of the Olympics, it was kind of like, all right, this is kind of fun. And it wasn't until it got to the middle of the tournament finally where, you saw that one day with the 3 overtime games, right?
Definitely.
I think we'll manage. I think we'll find a way.
Just think about Canada and the U.S. could have been eliminated that day.
Yeah,
for real. It came that close. But no, I'm ready for some Islander hockey. I'm ready to jump back into it, and it's I know it's going to be a little different for you fellas, because it seems like your season's a little over. But
you could say that.
They got. I mean, let's face facts. If the roles are reversed, I would admit it on my end. But they got Pittsburgh right in front of them. They got 2 teams in Columbus and Washington nipping at their heels right now, 4 points back. And it's not going to be easy. I looked at the March schedule, and it is going to be a gauntlet. So if they do make the playoffs, they will have earned it. And I am excited to see all of that unfold. So I'm ready.
All right, man.
Nice.
Good stuff. We'll definitely be in touch. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence again. Looking forward. No, seriously, looking forward to the rest of the season. Yeah, thanks again, man. Love you,
Fellas,
buddy. Talk to you soon.
always a pleasure talking with you boys. Always a pleasure hanging out with you. You're doing a great job. Love it, and love you guys, and see you guys soon.
Same to you,
Thanks,
man.
Sean.
More
Take care,
content on
boys.
the way as always. Later, buddy.
Bye-bye.
That was Sean Cuthbert from Hockey Night New York. Yeah, I know it's an Islanders podcast, but Arthur Staples over there, obviously very knowledgeable. Sean, as you could see, is very knowledgeable as well, knows the game of hockey very well and knows his team even better. So hop over there and check them out every Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Like I said, I know it's Islanders, but it's good to learn about the game and see who they're playing against and whatever. Just learn about some hockey from a different team's perspective. Coach, what were your thoughts on the two interviews?
Two great guys. We're definitely blessed with our guests from these other podcasts because they're all very humble and real, I should say. They're not all just fans of their team and pushing it. But love Neil, love Sean. Great job, boys. Looking forward to seeing you guys again for sure.
Yeah, and with that, let's play the commercial and get into this week's Coach's Corner.
Hey everybody, Coach Ed here. I'm over here in the shop at Bella Italia, Marble, Granite, and Quartz, picking up my order for a nice little bathroom I'm doing. I've been a contractor almost as long as I'm a hockey coach. So listen to me when I tell you, when you want the quality work and craftsmanship, come and see the boys over at Bella. They serve all 5 boroughs, Westchester, Long Island, all the way out to Montauk. Whether you're a Ranger fan, Islander fan, Devils fan, they're going to take care of you no matter what. Make sure you give them a call, 516-561-1018. Let's go, Rangers.
All right, boys, bring it in.
All right, Coach, what do you got for us this week?
Well, a couple of I'm going to stay on the Olympic topic and theme. Obviously, with the big win, watched the movie Miracle again Sunday night. Right after that, I watched there was also a documentary on, I think it was Netflix, about the Russian perspective of what went on, and to see the way the game transformed, pretty much just copied the Russians. And again, I went to a coach's seminar, level 4, and the 1984 U.S. Olympic coach, literally after 1980, went to Russia and met with Tarasov. And Tarasov pretty much said, draw me up a book of your drills. I want to see what you got. And he had nothing. We were doing like little simple, you saw what Herb Brooks did, jumping on the blue line, this and that, sprints, a little bit of puck movement, but it was a north-south game. There was nothing going on, nothing compared to what it is now. And the way Herb Brooks transformed the game, and watching the movie, again, it's one of those movies where you watch it and kind of pick up a little something every time.
Yep.
I don't know if you feel the same way.
Definitely.
But he literally says to one of the, again, we don't know if this is true or what happened, but he literally says to one of the guys in the meeting, one of the higher up, Lou Nanny or whatever, we need to learn how to play the game without the puck. And to think how game-changing that was, the way that's stressed now and what a big part of the game it is now. And the other big thing that he said that I've seen this before, when he picks his team, when we're going to talk about this year's team, they go, Herb, you can't pick the team yet. There's a lot of good players out there. He said, I don't necessarily want the best players. I want the right players. So I'm almost wondering if Bill Guerin picks up on that and they figure out the same thing, because we had that discussion with, what was his name, Hunter, last week?
Yeah.
And we're talking about, again, Trocheck and Miller. We just talked about earlier on the show, 100% on the penalty kill. Trocheck's faceoff percentage was up near 60, right? He was a big face-off, get-off guy, which I've been always saying in the Rangers games that they should do more. And it came down to, again, I heard excuses on NHL radio. When Crosby went down, Canada had no answer to replace him at center. So when you go down the line and you have Trocheck and Miller, you have 5 centers in the lineup.
And Brock Nelson, yep.
And Brock Nelson. You have a
Jack Hughes,
multitude of, you have a multitude of guys that could step into that role. And I'm not saying it's why they won, but when you think about picking the right players, they could have got Caulfield in there. They could have got Robertson, but God forbid one guy goes down and you don't have another center. Now you're scrambling to fill that void. And that was one of the situations where the Canada felt, a couple of analysts felt that Canada lacked. They missed the boat on that when they were relying on Crosby. They were relying on a certain number of guys, and they had a perfect lineup. But when a couple of injuries happened, it made them vulnerable.
Yeah.
So I just want to stress that when people complain, why are they picking this guy? Why are they picking that guy? It's just like building a regular season team. You need to have the right pieces, especially in a short-term tournament.
Yeah, and I forget who said it today or where I saw it, but everyone loves JT Miller. I forget what player was it today, but they were like, we love him. We follow. He's one of our leaders. Like, you hear all these rumors about how JT Miller is in the locker room and he got kicked out of Vancouver and maybe he's toxic in the Rangers locker room this year. And then you hear things like that. It's like, why would Bill Guerin pick someone like him if he knows? Because, Bill Guerin talks to everyone. He knows what goes on in the Vancouver locker room. He knows Sullivan is there too. He knows what's going on in the Rangers locker room. So clearly JT Miller is not this villain that everyone points him out to be. And like I said, his teammates for Team USA said, no, we wanted him there, and that's part of it where it's like, okay, like, could they replace him with Cole Caulfield? Sure. And they would get a little bit more offense, whatever, 3-on-3 in overtime. He's been doing great at this year, but you don't have that team camaraderie, that we constantly talk about, that maybe
intangible.
Yeah, that maybe Drury could be learning a thing or two from this tournament, because he was there also as assistant GM. That it's not all about just moving players in and out, like we said about Trouba, Goudreau, Kreider. The list goes on. You got to give them time to build a rapport. I know it was only a short time for these guys to get together, but they're texting. They've been talking since the Four Nations. They know they're going to be on the team. I think the video came out today of Bill Guerin calling Jack Eichel, and they made a joke like, "Yeah, obviously you're on the team. You're going to Good Morning America today, but I just had to call you." They know that they're on the team for the most part. There might be like 1 or 2 guys that were the fringe add-ons towards the end or whatever, but they're talking. They're figuring things out. They're whatever. That teamwork or that team camaraderie started when they lost that game in the Four Nations. And Bill Guerin had the confidence. He knew that McAvoy wasn't in that lineup. Quinn Hughes wasn't in that lineup, to just run it back. And that camaraderie, that Team USA, that grit that we saw, like weathering the storm and stuff, that's all character. That has nothing to do, well, not nothing to do. It has a lot more to do with character and being able to bounce back after that, getting shelled in the second period and coming out in the third period and taking more of it. You know what I mean? It's like almost like getting punched in the face over and over again in a fight and not tapping out. And they didn't tap out. And that's how Bill Guerin wanted to build that team. And guys like JT Miller and Trocheck, they're never going to tap out no matter what.
Look, Bill Guerin was on that World Cup team with Richter, and that was a very physical. I remember watching the documentary on that on NHL Network. He knows what it takes to beat Canada, and he knows the character. And I said it last week. JT and Trocheck are the guys you want next to you that are going to take a puck and do what they need to do. And if you don't think that fight in the Four Nations put something in Bill Guerin's mind about JT Miller and how that whole thing started, it's happening. I mean, he probably won't be there at the next one. Possibly. We don't know. But he was there and it happened, and they were 100% on the penalty kill. And
that's just
like you said, he's just the leader out there. The players love him. He's going to do everything he can to do it, and it was very exciting to watch. I'm obviously very glad they won because it was exciting for them and the team and the country. But that's my take on that. Listening to that and watching that movie and dissecting it a little bit and watching all these Instagram videos and seeing what's going on, and the depth at center is a big thing down the middle. And if you don't think Bill Guerin was ready for that, then you're crazy, because he's not a dumb guy. He's built a pretty good team over there in Minnesota.
No, that's a great point. I mean, if you go down the list, technically USA had what? 7 centers? 6?
At least 6.
Maybe 7. So yeah, I mean, we say it all the time. You got to be strong up the middle, goaltending, defense, and then strong up the middle. I mean, that game.
And look, coaching that team. You saw Sully's pregame.
Yeah,
he goes, "Let's go out there. We know what." He didn't need to tell them X's and O's. They know what they got to do. They know the forecheck. They know it all. These guys. He goes, "Just go out there with the American swag and show them who you are." And that's what JT Miller and Trocheck are all about. They're not right now. They're not the highest skilled players in the country, but they're the right players at this point in time.
And it was great to see that they saw all the buzz. They were like, "Yeah, we're not stupid. We saw everyone doubting us, and we knew we had a job to do, and they did it. 100% on the penalty kill is literally just unheard of. That's crazy. Trocheck was top 4 in faceoffs behind Larkin. I think he was top 2 behind Larkin, actually. So I think USA had 3 out of the top 5 in faceoffs. So there you go, right there, strong up the middle. The last thing I wanted to mention on this is obviously last night. You watched the State of the Union address?
Yeah, 100%.
Yep. The Team USA was there, or most of them, I should say. A few of the players had to get back home with their NHL teams, and I saw Jake Ensel didn't turn down the invite. He just wanted to get home and spend some time with his family before getting back to Tampa. So that was good to see. And obviously the women are going to be invited as well. Not to get too much into that whole drama, but Trump made it clear that the women are going to go there as well. So that's good. And
the women won a week early. So, they were already probably home. Some of them might have stayed, but some of them have families. Some of them have kids.
Yeah, but it was a whole thing. We don't have to get too much into it.
Yeah.
But the last but not least, President Donald Trump is awarding Connor Hellebuck with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the highest honor you can get as a civilian, if you can even call him a civilian after that. They also named him the Secretary of Defense for the day, which is pretty funny, and gave him like the presidential seal for that. So yeah, the boys were just having so much fun. Just makes you really proud to be an American. All politics aside, it's just something so amazing to be able to go to the White House after winning a gold medal, after growing up, seeing the 1980 guys doing it and stuff like that. You just can't even imagine what that feels like walking into the room.
And also, how about I'll have to eat a little crow on this too, because Lundqvist put winning the gold medal so high on a pedestal. So you got to give him a lot of credit. Hellebuck, I said it before the game. I said, this is like Hellebuck's like Lundqvist. If he wins the gold, he might not win a cup, and he might be the same thing. Vezina trophies, MVP. Well, I don't think Lundqvist ever won league MVP, but it's on the same level. He won the gold medal in the big game, and doesn't mean he's not one of the best goalies in the league for the last 5-10 years or whatever it's going to be. So I put him on that level. Definitely puts him in a Hall of Fame conversation. And
yeah, they said that today. They said that today on the radio, that if you asked a lot of these guys, they would pick gold medal over Stanley Cup. So that's like the first time I think I've heard them actually like admit that. A lot of the times I feel like maybe they're just pumping our tires as fans and say that the Stanley Cup's more important, but I'm perfectly fine with them saying that. I mean, winning that gold medal against Team Canada or whoever, even if it was Sweden, whatever, the best of the best, winning the gold medal against the best of the best is a lot different than even winning the Stanley Cup, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is different. It's definitely a different dynamic. And the Kachuk, Matt Kachuk has two cups in that, so he might have been he might have said it. It's easy for him to say,
Yeah, exactly.
but
The other
at
thing
least
I
they
want,
have that.
you said the thing that I caught this, where I pointed out to Lindsay this time, because you said it the other night, that the Russian coach didn't even know like how to pull the goalie or what to do. And Herb Brooks says that to Craig Patrick on the bench. He's like, he doesn't know what to do. I
He's
don't
never
remember
had
ever
to do it.
seeing. Yeah,
Oh, I remember that. I
don't
remember
remember
that
ever
part for
like
sure.
catching
But
that.
he's like he's never done it before. I don't think
Yeah,
they ever were losing in like 20 years or something. Some ridiculous stat like that. They were never behind in the game for all those years.
yeah.
So very interesting to see. Never gets old to me. You know, I've been watching that movie since it came out multiple times. I lived it a little bit. I can't believe it's 46 years since we won a gold medal. I never really thought about that till they kept talking about it before when they
Yeah,
were getting there. That forget.
yeah.
But
We had the silver and a few good years there, but then we didn't really pay attention when the NHLers weren't in it. But either way, yeah.
I mean, one of the funniest things was that freaking the video of McKinnon looking at the stuffed animal.
That was so good.
like what the hell is this?
He literally said, he's like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah.
And then someone tweeted, I feel like they could have given out the medals and the stuffed animal at the same time. Because they do all the medals and then they go back with the stuffed animals. Oh man, yeah, I can't even imagine what that felt like either. Oh, God.
Canada's seething and they're handing him this little teddy bear, whatever the heck it is.
It was like a little muskrat or something. Oh gosh, I had something else I wanted to say, but I don't think it was important about the Olympics. I'm sure it'll come to me. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. Let's close it out with the upcoming schedule. If you just give me a second, I'll cue that up here.
Well, we got the Flyers Thursday night.
Yeah, so NHL is back. Actually, we didn't even mention Artemi Panarin is making his debut tonight for the Kings. I don't know if we can catch that game. It's going to be on TNT, probably starting in a few minutes or at 10 o'clock. So if I'm up, I'll definitely check that out. Going to be weird seeing Panarin in the black and silver. But anyway, Rangers kicking the season back off with a game at home against the Flyers. Going to be broadcasted on ESPN, so that gives us an 8 o'clock game. Coach Ed will be there. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it. I'm on the road as usual. And then on Saturday, Sullivan is welcoming back his former team without Sidney Crosby. We got a day game, afternoon game at 12:30 on Saturday against the Penguins. And then before our next episode, they'll be closing it out against the Columbus Blue Jackets on Monday. Zach Werenski, 7 o'clock at home. All three of these games will be at the Garden, so the boys won't have to travel much after the long break, so they'll still be able to be home and hopefully get a little bit of a winning streak. I know the season's kind of out of reach here, but some positive wins and some good hockey for the rest of the season would be fun.
I've been grasping at straws to say 3-0 how many times, but it hasn't happened. Hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, what do you think? You think JT and Troche are going to come back flying, or you think they're going to be like just riding the high a little bit and not packing it in, but you know what I mean, kind of just coasting for the rest of the season?
It's going to be. I don't expect them to come out and like dominate the game. If anything, I think they're going to be suffering a little bit from jet lag and hangover, and the whole high of it is an emotional experience. I'm not going to be disappointed if they don't do much in a game or two. So we'll see what happens. I don't think Sid's going to be playing Saturday, so it should make it a little easier for them.
Yeah, Sid's out 4 weeks at least.
They said 4 weeks? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, minimum of 4 weeks. But I think they were just saying that because it doesn't sound good.
The other thing with Panarin is, what's his name got hurt? Kempe?
Yeah.
In the Olympics?
No, was it Kempe? Why am I blank? No, Kevin Fiala. on Team Switzerland, Kevin Fiala. Adrian
Fiala,
Kempe might have gotten hurt also. He was on Team
I
Sweden.
thought I heard Kempe got hurt.
Well, it was definitely Kevin Fiala on Switzerland. So Kempe may have gotten hurt as well. I'm not sure. But either way, LA might be looking to add somebody else because of that. It's Kopitar's last year. They just added Panarin, obviously, so I don't think they want that to go to waste. And they're technically not even in a playoffs position right now, I don't think. I think they're 2 points out or 4 points out or something like that. So it should be interesting.
Well, they are battling, though.
Yeah. You got anything else? What are you looking
I'm just
up to,
looking. Rantanen got hurt. Morrissey. You're right. Fiala.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing Kempe's name today on the radio when they were going through it.
Yeah, maybe it was Fiala I was thinking about.
Oh, the last thing, well, I guess we don't know for sure, but I said it was 100% chance that Trocheck and Miller wouldn't come back not on the IR. So looks like I was wrong on that one, luckily. Knock on wood. And hopefully they finish the season strong with no injuries and then get healthy.
I mean, I'm not saying this as this is an old injury, I guess. It says 2026 Olympic hockey injuries. It says Filipino.
Well,
sustained facial fractures from a puck during practice.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't in the Olympics, but he got hit in the head or in the face in the Canucks practice. The kid can't catch a break.
Yeah, I don't wish that on him. I wish he was successful out there. I don't want to. I just didn't like him on the Rangers, but
yeah, it is what it is. Last question for you, Coach. Do you think Trocheck gets traded?
Do I hope or do I think?
Do you think?
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same. I think that hint that Drury slipped in the letter saying that they want to be competitive next year and in the immediate future, I don't think Sullivan's going to really put his stamp of approval trading away one of his guys. And Chris Drury was there also.
I mean, again, you got to be strong down the middle. You get rid of Trocheck, you better be getting a center back that's a bona fide NHL center.
It's not going to happen. Like that. You can't. They're not going to get someone like him back. To me, right now, someone like him is irreplaceable, and it showed. He was on Team USA. So
I don't see the point in getting rid of him. I don't see it.
Well, everyone's saying that his value is very high right now. Obviously, after the Olympics, everyone wants a center. Everyone needs a penalty killer. Everyone needs a player like him for the playoffs, and it's obvious. But like I said, if the Rangers are looking to make the playoffs next year, then they need a player like him. I don't really care what assets they can get back. What are those assets going to do for us in the immediate future? And I'm tired of hearing all the Ranger fans being impatient on one hand and being patient on the other. You can't be impatient and then also want to trade away Vinny Trocheck for assets. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So we'll leave the show. We'll end the show on that, I guess.
I'm with you on that. I don't see it. I don't want it. I don't see it happening. I'd be very surprised if it happens. When is the deadline? Isn't it this
March,
week?
I think it's next week, the 14th or something like that. Let me see. NHL trade.
It might be a little earlier this year because of the schedule in the Olympics.
Friday, March 6th at 3 p.m.
Next week.
That's next week already.
Yeah, next Friday.
Next Friday. Wow, that came up quick. I thought they had at least 2 weeks after the Olympic break to worry about that. But yeah, I mean, my prediction, if anything, he gets traded to the Wild with Billy Guerin. Other than that, I think it would be silly to get rid of him. But
I'm riding that Minnesota Wild bandwagon.
Yeah. If he goes there, I'm definitely rooting for them, that's for sure. And Quinn Hughes is my new favorite defenseman, so
talk about eating crow.
Yeah. No, listen, I'll be the first one to admit I didn't watch him play very often. I thought he was just all offense, but I watched him. He played defense. When he lost the puck, he always got back. He made a lot of good defensive plays, good back checks. and he's just so fast. His footwork, he makes up for like his size, obviously, with his speed and his footwork. He doesn't have to hit everyone. He just like does the little stick lifts and all those like little small plays, you know? So, hey, you learn something when you're able to watch these guys for a full game. And I guess it's something I should work on as a fan or as a podcaster as well, and give these guys a little bit more of a shot. But fans, thank you so much for sticking with us. A little bit longer of an episode. That'll be our last one for the Rivalry Tour. We'll be back with a regular episode next week. Maybe we'll have a guest or a surprise third chair or something like that, or maybe Allie or Mark will join us. But other than that, let's go Rangers. Let's go Rangers, Ed.
Let's go Rangers, Ed.
Let's go Team USA. Play Freebird.